Oh, okay.
As of right now, this official minute, we're live.
All
What do you
right.
think about that? We're early even. It's only 11:51.
Oh, okay. Okay. You're coming across really clear.
You think you can hear me? So yesterday I did a live. It was an
Mhm.
emergency live. And
Mhm.
when I played it back, my video kept freezing. So I think I was having internet problems. In the future, I need to connect my Wi-Fi with an Ethernet cable. That's what I was told.
Yeah.
Do you have an Ethernet cable?
I do. Yeah.
So I need one of those.
Well, you just they're nothing really. Just a piece of wire. That's all. As long as you want to get them for. That's all.
Well, I need the piece of wire so that I can make sure that my broadcasts are at optimal performance levels. Because
You're right.
yesterday was not perfect.
Uh-huh.
I'm working on
You
perfecting
get
this
you get
thing.
them any electric shop.
Well, I'm going to go shopping today at the
Oh,
Best Buy. Do you have a Best Buy in England?
no, we don't. No,
You don't.
no.
Where do you go buy your electronics?
Well, I'll just go up to the nearest electronic shop. That's all.
What is it called?
What is Morrison's?
Morrison's. So is
Yeah.
Morrison's a big corporate brand over there in
No,
England, or is it locally owned?
It's a local shopping centre. That's all. There's Morrison's and there's Tesco, and they've got a department that's electronics, and just go across there. You get one for about £3 or £4. That's all.
How much is 3 or 4 pounds in American dollars?
Maybe $5.
How many times?
$5.
$5.
Yeah.
3 or 4 pounds. So I probably could get an Ethernet cable for $5 maybe here.
Yeah.
I would think. I would hope.
Yeah, they're very common. They're not, you get them anywhere.
So do you want to jump into the good stuff? Do you want to get right to the grit and the gore of things?
Anything you want, whichever way you want to do it.
So I have your book.
Mm-hmm. Did you manage to get through it?
I haven't had a chance to really read it. I took it with me out to dinner, which was a stupid choice because there was too much happening around me. It was distracting.
Yeah.
But I did start to read it, and I have been flipping through it and reading parts of it.
Uh-huh.
And one of the things I was curious about is your formatting.
Yeah.
For example, do you see how this page just has
That's how Kindle put it on. That's all.
Kindle. Oh, okay. So did you have it formatted for Kindle versus the print on demand? Did you do different formatting for it?
It was just the same.
The same?
Yeah.
Okay. So that was one of the things that caught my eye because I wondered if you had done it for artistic purposes or if it was an intentional.
No, it wasn't intentional, but actually I quite like it.
That's what I was saying because it was interesting because this is the thing about I'm going to read you just a little tiny bit of like something that's
if that'd been up the top, it'd just be but here it breaks the page up, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah, I like it.
And it's different.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you were asked that in the future, I would just tell people I did it because I'm brilliant. That's why I did it that way.
Even this one little chapter there, say, they put it in automatically there in the center of the page.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Fancy that.
I like it.
So one of the first things that you do in this book is you apologize for it. You said, I'm really sorry, but this book is going to be very graphic and very full of morbid, raunchy things. So what inspired you to write a book like this book?
I never even started off that way. I wrote, that was my third book. And what it was, I sit down here and in this chair, and the chair tells me what to write, really. I started off right, because the first book I wrote was a Victorian story. And I quite like getting into that kind of style of Victorian speech and thinking and things like that. And I started off like, I says, I'll write a I'll write a horror book, and I started off. And then as I went, I got a little bit into it, only a couple of pages. I just thought about Jack the Ripper, and then I started off with Jack the Ripper coming into it, and a different approach, because I don't know if you are you familiar with Jack the Ripper stories at all?
I do know that there is a theory that he was not the only killer.
Yeah, there is. But they also, because he used a lot of carbon, they thought it was either a butcher or he was a surgeon or a doctor of some type, So he was used to anatomy. Now, so I got him, and I thought, well, something maybe different. So I put him as a taxidermist, and also with that was the taxidermist would be his as a hobby. So he would used to, all kinds of anatomy for there. And he also would be dispensing drugs as well as a pharmacy, So, and it's mixed the two in there, and it just went along the lines there. And then I thought, well, how am I going to make it any different? And so I got to meet this other psychopath, and they went along and they found that they were both absolutely mad, It was kind of like a love story with Jack the Ripper thrown in, And then, of course, they had a love child with between the two of them, and he was as mad as them, So it went right away through that way. And then, of course, you've got all the deaths and that it was atrocious. And I thought, well, I can't say, he went and killed her, so I went the other way and just described it really gory, the way it actually did. I looked at all kind of anatomy videos and procedures on the internet and things like that, and took it from there. Described it.
So you actually researched ways to mutilate people as part of your writing?
No, not people just getting mutilated, but like surgeries, surgeries. I looked at some surgeries.
So was Jack the Ripper's victims, when they did the autopsies, were the cuts precise? Were they sloppy? Because
they were a lot of them. They were like disemboweled. You got a lot of the bodies disemboweled, but they're also slashed to pieces and that. And that's why I put the woman going to do that, or the young boy as well. He did it as well, the son, So, but he did all kind of like the technical work, and the other two, they just slashed away, like,
Were they disemboweled post-mortem?
Oh yeah. Some of them, yeah, they were. The ones where he had times is a couple of times he got interrupted, and so he wasn't very happy about that. But he would more or less like cut the throats most of the time, and then he'd have time to just he'd take the hearts out or things like that, take the lungs out, take them away and have them for dinner.
Do you think what do you think the motivation was for the killings, other than madness? That they just were really hungry for people food?
No, not at all. It started off, because he was lonely. He was just a lonely, morbid guy, and he was wanting somebody who would love him. And so he started off. He didn't start off with the Ripper killings. He started off. He went and got this girl. He saw a girl in a pub and followed her into a dark area and cut a hand off. And then he was going to like build it up and get different parts of the body and put them all together, kind of like a Frankenstein, to make his wondrous girl. But it didn't work out that way, because when like say there in the book there, he took the hand back, and he took some drugs and knocked himself out, and these rats came out and they ate the hand. So he didn't. It really put him off the idea, And so he was still looking for somebody else, to keep him company, to live in his life, and that's when he went and got this woman.
It's strange to me that he is lonely, so he decides that he's going to make all the efforts to meet a woman and then cut off her body part, because one would think that that's kind of counterproductive, right? Like if you want to be my friend and you cut off my hand, I'm not going to want to be your friend anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he should have just bought her flowers.
The thing was, he was a psychopath, and everybody who when he tried to meet a woman, nobody would have any idea. They didn't want to talk to him. He wasn't the bonniest lad, and so nobody would have anything to do with him. So he was lonely, just himself all the time, and of course his mind was distorted by drugs anyway. So
what kind of drugs did he like to take?
The drugs of the day. So he was a pharmacist, and so
what were the drugs of the day? Do you know?
Yeah. The all in here. The laudanum was his favorite.
Laudanum.
Yeah, that was it used to be common in those days. It's and it used to just be kind of like the LSD of the day, And
so was it a pill?
No, it was a drug. It was kind of like a brownish drug.
How did you take the drug? Did you inject? Do you inject it? Do you put it under your tongue like acid? How do you take the drug?
Why you could take it a few ways. It was normally like in liquid form.
Okay, like a drop.
Yeah, he would take it like that.
Interesting. Are there any questions I'm not allowed to ask you?
No. Anything
I can ask you any question.
Anything you want, yeah.
Oh boy, howdy. Okay, so you chose to write about Jack the Ripper, but this was your third book, correct?
Yeah, I've actually just completed my last one today. I've got 5 now. I've got my 5th one out.
So what is your 5th book? What did you just finish?
The horse racing book. About race horses.
Okay, so race horsing. And then the book before that was what?
The book before that was this one was The Tales of a Talker.
The Tales of a Talker?
Yeah.
Like somebody that talks a lot?
No. It's the book of short stories, historical stories. But what I've done, it's reporting firsthand by somebody who was actually on the scene at the time, right? And the person who is doing it is time itself, right? And who takes the form of a different person, and it goes to all these different eras and reports on them. So like the crucifixion, the Titanic, Custer's Last Stand, Masada, the Great Plague, things like that, Genghis Khan, and he's there, and he's part of it on the scene, like integrated, but he's not there to make any suggestions or to alter fate at all. He's just there to report on it, but in his guise as a human. Yeah.
It's interesting to me because when we started our interview today, you said that I sit in this chair and the chair tells me what to write.
Yes.
Your chair is a little bipolar because your chair says write about serial killers, and then I want you to write historical fiction, short stories, and then I want you to write about horse racing.
Yeah, and I've got a poetry book as well.
A poetry book.
Yeah.
Now, what has been your favorite book out of the 5? What did you enjoy writing the most?
My first one.
The first one, the Victorian one?
Yeah, Jack Benson, The Life of a Victorian Fellow.
A Victorian fellow. Will you do me the honor of telling me what a Victorian fellow is? Because I don't think I know that.
What it is, it's set in the late 19th century, right? And Queen Victoria came to the throne, and throughout, as she was getting older, there was the world was just exploding with innovation. Yeah, and Britain was at the forefront of it because they ruled the world virtually, and it was just everything really, I would love to be around those times, and she used to encourage it, and also her husband, Prince Albert, he was like a would-be, like an amateur engineer, in his thoughts. He would never go to work, obviously, but he would encourage everybody, all the good minds around there, to do all the technical things. And with his encouragement, London it was great, Have you heard of the Crystal Palace?
No, I have not.
No.
They have kept me in a little box of no information.
You're right.
I'm like North Korea. I get no internet. That was a bad joke.
The Crystal Palace in those days was this big giant greenhouse, as it were. They built this really technical greenhouse, and they brought exhibitions, tens of thousands of exhibitions from all over the world, India, America, China, Japan, Germany, France, everything. And they put it all into this place as a viewing for the public. And when they came in, they actually had the first pier for a toilet in there. Have you heard the expression "spend a penny"?
I have not.
No.
Does that mean you have to use the bathroom?
Yeah.
I have to spend the penny.
Spend a penny. If you say it to like a Brit, say, "I'm going to go and spend a penny," he'll think you're going off to the bathroom.
All right. Well, I'm going to practice that the next time I see a Brit.
I'm
going to say, "Excuse me, I need to go spend a penny."
In your London accent.
I don't know if it's London. It's the only accent that I. Is it? All right.
It's Cockney accent.
The Cockney. All right. I just get it from watching the telly.
The telly. You should watch Auf Wiedersehen, Pet.
Auf Wiedersehen?
Auf Wiedersehen. You know Auf Wiedersehen, goodbye? German
yes.
for
goodbye. Goodbye, farewell, I hate to see you go. That's from The Sound of Music.
That's right. But Auf Wiedersehen, Pet, that's about some navvies, some bricklayers and carpenters who go across to Germany just to work. And
interesting.
And it was a great comedy series. It was on about 30 years ago, and it made, Jimmy Nail. Do you know Jimmy Nail?
No, I don't. I need to know all of these people.
But anyway, if you want an accent, that's the accent to pick up.
All right, I'm going to work on it. I'm going to find out. I'm going to watch this over again, and I'm going to practice.
Nothing like London.
So, question for you.
Yeah.
What do you think of England today versus the England of the Victorian times?
I hate it.
What?
I hate it.
You hate it. What do you hate about it?
Well, PC, political. I detest that with will. I really do.
What are you telling me? You're not woke?
Woke? Yeah. I tell you what. The lads keep telling me to stop responding to it, but every time I go onto Facebook, I read something. I've got to write something and set them off. It's terrible. Now, for instance, Tuesday, they had a I think it's going to be 5 or 6 episodes. It's a little short mini TV series, and in it, they've got one of Henry VIII's wives, Anne Boleyn.
Oh, yes.
Who was a petite French lady with 6 fingers on one hand, and she could barely speak English in that now. And they've got her portrayed, and she was white, right? But they've got her portrayed by a 6-foot black woman. you know, and who was also being portrayed as a lesbian. Now, how would you think? How would you think if they cast Tom Cruise, right, as Obama or something, right? You know, or
Well, we should just if we were gonna cast Tom Cruise as Obama, we would paint his face black, wouldn't we?
that's not allowed. That's not allowed.
Well,
You
that's
can't. No. Why didn't he paint her face white?
because that would be inappropriate.
I know that, but the character she's portraying was white.
So it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. It doesn't make
Yeah, I know it, and that's I agree with you. It's lunacy.
It's awful, and you've got these demonstrations, you know, for nothing. You know, we've now got about 3/4 of the country that's been inoculated against this this plague, you know, that we've been visited with, right? And yet you've got thousands and thousands of people just last week going down to London, jamming everything up, stopping all of the businesses who are just getting back to work from operating because of the crush, injuring policemen, defacing monuments and that, simply to protest that they don't want the inoculation. You know, they don't want it. If they don't want it, they don't. But the thing is, it's been proved that the virus is spreading there now from the people who are not taking the inoculations. All the people who were getting it, 99%, they're fine. We were getting over 17,000 people a day, you know, are dying, you know. Now, 3 days ago, there was none. And then there was 5, and then there was 12, and there's 19 today. But it's nothing compared to what it was, and that's simply because they're getting the jabs, you know.
They're getting the jabs. So you're obviously inoculated.
I am. I've got 2. I've got 2 inoculations in May. Make sure.
Did you post it on Facebook and tell everybody?
I tell when they go on and say, I'm not having it. We don't want this. You're going to die, you know. Somebody came on there today on TV, and there was a woman in her 20s who says, I'm refusing my inoculation. I would rather that inoculation was sent to India and given to a 60-year-old Indian man. You know,
that was very gracious.
Yeah,
and they're all the vaccines are free, right? People don't have to pay for them.
No, the government's paying for them. Yeah,
well, there you go.
Yeah, but that's going to be a big crushing. There's 1.5 billion people living in India. Is she going to get that inoculation? You know, the liquid, and put it on a plane, take it across, and then go and have a fight to see who she's going to give it to, and then she's going to come on. No, tell you, all they're just prima donnas, just want to be recognized for saying something outrageous. That's all.
I think that a lot of people do want their 5 minutes of fame. They just want to be relevant and recognized and heard, and people are expressing their individuality, and this is what I stand for. This is my body. Well, I like to see all sides of things. I don't get stressed out about it anymore. I don't watch the news. Alf, do you watch the news?
Yes, I do.
And my dad watches the news. He never turns it off. Yeah, my dad watches the news from every country. And as he's watching the news, he cusses and screams and throws things, and he has a fit of a time, but yet he can't stop doing it.
Yeah, I know all that. I'll keep vowing that I'm not going to watch it because, I'm going to end up putting my foot through the TV or something like that. It's just, here's the thing here. Today, we got so many immigrants coming across the channel from France. About 3,000 a day that's been coming in every day, right? And then they're saying, right, where's our hotel? Where's our hot food? Right? Where's our, our daily living allowance for money, And so they're doing that, and they were getting thousands of them, It really messed up there. And the government says, right, what we're going to do, we're going to put a few hundred of these in an old army barracks, right? Where the forces had been, And so they went in. They didn't like it. There was riots and everything. They set fire to the place. And now they've taken the government to court because they're saying that they weren't looked after well enough. They were getting housed, they were getting fed, they were getting paid money every day for an allowance, and while they were processing their claims as to why they should be allowed into the country, right? Because the illegal aliens, they haven't come in with a passport or anything, right? And anyway, they took them to court, and the judges have upheld their appeal, and so now they're going to be paid compensation by the government, right, for supporting them. But the ironic thing is that before they lived in this housing, it was good enough for the military boys and girls there, who were living in there, but it's not good enough for the immigrants,
So, Alf, can I ask you something? I don't know why do French people want to immigrate to England? What's wrong with France? I thought France was wonderful.
They're not from France. They're from Ethiopia or Pakistan or anywhere like all these countries that they can't get any work, and so because they can't, but they've got to come through France to get to England.
Oh, okay, gotcha. But they don't want to stay in. They don't want to stay in France, though. France must not be good enough.
France won't let them. That's the thing. It's not as though they were French and says, right, come across, and we're your neighbors. No. But and French, the government, our government, they made an agreement with France at the end of the year. We'll give you, I forget how many million, untoward millions of people. Patrol your borders. If you see anybody that's going or seeming to go on the boats to come across, stop them. Now, the French they took the money and they escorting them into the British waters, right? Saying that they don't capsize or anything when they come out, and they take them right away across until it gets into the waters, and as soon as they do that, they escort it inwards by by the patrol boats of Britain.
It's interesting hearing you talk about the problems that England's having in regards to refugees, because America seems to have the same laments. It's the world is very similar, isn't it?
Yes, it is, but it's only good for some people, but it's not accepted for others. For instance, there's our police chief. She's been asked to task for 20,000 extra police to fill the quota in Britain, right? Just yesterday, she's applied now to the government so that she can have a mandatory choice to be discriminate in her choice, right? Now,
elaborate on that. What does that mean?
Well, say for instance, you get two people going for a job, right? Yeah. One's a black person, one's a white person, right?
Okay.
No matter if the white person has got 10 times more qualifications, she would pick the black person
because the person's black.
Yes.
So it's picking candidates based on ethnicity versus on qualifications.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
simply because of all this diversity issue that's going on. And the thing is, it's creating it's created something there that wasn't there before. I'm saying that, but if you speak to many black people, they say, well, look, you should be black, and you would see the problems that we've got every day, right? Now you've got this Black Lives Matter that's come up, and they are a political party, right? No two ways about it, and people they've lost the message that Black Lives Matter, and they do matter, but white lives matter. But they won't accept that. All lives matter, even French, they matter as well, But
even the French, those pesky French, they get to matter too.
French, France and England are technically still at war with each other.
I didn't know that.
The number of wars that Britain have had with France, it's countless. And one of the ones at the end of the century, not this century, but the other one, it never got cancelled. And so really, technically, we're still at war with France.
How do you cancel a war? You write a treaty?
You sign a treaty, an agreement to do this. Yeah.
So there was no agreement made. So does France and England still have some spats? Are they still fighting at all? Or do they just get tired of it and put their guns up?
Luckily we've got a channel in between us, a channel of water, so we don't see much of them, But when, for instance, we had Brexit not so long ago, right? So now we're not part of the European nations. We've gone out on our own again. Now we've broken off, and one of the main antagonists against that decision was France.
Were you for Brexit or against it?
Well, definitely for it.
Why definitely for it?
If it hadn't been for Brexit, we've got 3/4 of our population injected there now. We probably had maybe a quarter of it done. You see the countries in Europe there now, people are dying all over the place because they're not getting the injections. They're not getting the support. They're all over the place. They're getting stopped for doing this and stopped for doing that. And meanwhile, Britain have gone out because we are on our own there now. We're not under their rules and laws anymore. So we can do basically what we want.
So who is in your how is the division now that we had the Brexit? Is it just England only looks out for England?
England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales.
England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and who's the other people?
Who's the other people? What Ireland, you mean? Era.
Well, no, because you said this is you guys were all united, right? And then Brexit happened, correct? Yeah. And now you're not united, you're divided. Where's the division? So is Ireland still with England?
No. We were part of Europe.
Yes.
Right? But we're not now.
You're not a part of Europe anymore.
No.
You're not European? English people are no longer European?
No.
That's so confusing.
No, because before all the rules that governed every nation in Europe was decreed by Brussels, their headquarters, right? Of the European nations, right?
Okay. Gotcha.
Now, because we're not part of that there now, we're self-governing. We can make our own laws up.
So do the royals make the decisions?
The royals?
The royals.
No, they don't make any. They don't make any decisions. But you're talking about Harry and Meghan now, yeah?
You have a queen still, don't you? The queen is still alive.
The queen is only a figurehead. That's all.
Well, she just doesn't do anything but just wave at people.
She's probably the biggest tourist attraction in the world. You know, certainly for Britain. Certainly for Britain. You know, the number of people. Well, in a normal year, the people who would come to London and visit the palace, look at the Buckingham Palace, and that. You know, she's also like the ambassador of Britain, where she goes to countless countries and talks to all of the leaders, and also because of the next year would be 70 years that she's been on the throne, and they're going to have 4 days holiday to celebrate it. But just think of all the prime ministers that she's, all the great prime ministers and the bad prime ministers that she's had to suffer for, like, you know, to work with. Okay.
So are the prime ministers the people that make the decisions, or is that like your president?
It's like the president, but you got parliament, right, instead of your Congress.
Okay.
Now, and any decisions, major decisions, first of all, comes through the prime minister, who's got about 20, 30 guys, and, you know, in his cabinet, they call it. He's, you know, and they make the decisions. But anything major is going to affect the country, you've got to be pushed through Parliament. That means there's, I think, about 460. I think it is.
And you don't have Republicans and Democrats. You have Tories. Do you have a Tories?
We've got the Tories, the Conservatives, and we've got Labour.
Tories and Labour.
Yeah, and we've got some little other ones as well. You got like the Scottish.
Did the Labours have a name?
No, Labour.
They're just called Labour.
Yeah. Totally rubbish.
Rubbish means garbage, right?
Yeah.
Rubbish. So what do you think of America?
Me? What do I think?
Yeah, what do you think of America?
I've been in America a few times. I like it.
You do?
Yeah. You've got good steaks there.
That is true. Steak is my favorite food.
Yeah. The first time that I went to America was by accident. I was supposed to be going to Bermuda, and I went to get my tickets. And when I went to pick them up, the company hadn't confirmed them. So they immediately got on the phone. Plane was full. So where would you like to go? Why? I'd had me all my holidays booked, so I had to go on holiday, you know, the next day. So there was song singing in the background. Show me the way to Amarillo. It was, you know, I don't know if you know the song. Do you know the song?
No, are you going to sing it to me? Will you please sing it?
It was, what is Phil? I forget his name now. Luke, I forget his name now. But anyway, it was a comic song at the time. So send me to Amarillo. I'll have a ticket to Amarillo, you know, in Texas.
In Texas.
Yeah. So I goes to Amarillo, and I goes into this bar, and there was a guy there. He said, "So you British?" I says, "Yeah." He said, "What are you doing here?" And you look outside, and nothing there outside but dust, fields, flat fields, as far as you can see, just dust, you know? And so I stopped there for about 4 days, and then I went off to Las Vegas. I went out the rest of my holiday in Las Vegas. Like,
so can you do a country accent? Can you do a Texas drawl? Can you talk? Well, it's twang. Can you do that?
Wow, I'm no good at accents. It would be I'm terrible. Honest. I can barely speak English. Never mind anything else. You know.
You don't practice talking your Texan.
We don't Texan, Mom.
There you go. You got it, y'all. So you went to Vegas. Did you gamble? Did you gamble?
Yeah, that's all.
It hurts me throat when I talk like that.
My partner's American, you know. Yeah.
Your girlfriend?
Yeah.
Yeah, Alex told me.
Yeah, she's from Idaho.
Idaho. I have a friend, Sarah, lives in Idaho. Idaho is beautiful.
Yeah, I love it there. Yeah. Potato.
So does your girlfriend live in England then?
Yeah, she's lived here about 20 years now.
How did she get over there? I mean, besides on an airplane, is it hard to relocate to another country? Is that even possible?
She married somebody.
Oh,
she married somebody. I understand. She married somebody and he died. So I thought it very good.
You're like, yay, lucky me.
I'm trying to turn this thing off so it doesn't ring again. But yeah, she married somebody. They came back here, and after I don't know how long it was, but anyway, he died, and then after a couple of years or so, we met up again. We met up with her, you know. And
so, where did you meet up at?
On the internet. On the internet.
Online dating.
Yeah, and this was at the beginning of it. This now 15 years ago.
What? Yeah. What site was it? What site did you use?
I've got no idea.
You don't remember?
No, I've never been on since.
Oh, so you all hit it off immediately. It was an instant connection.
Yeah, yeah. And we went. I had a week. I'd had like a month where I'd been away in America for the 3 weeks. I had 1 week left, and the day I came back, we got connected. Me and Luann, we got connected, and we in a couple of days just exchanging words, you know. And I said, "Well, it's no good. I've only got a couple of more days left, and then I'm finished. I don't want to keep this thing on. Do you want to meet up?" She says, "Yeah, okay." So we met up the next day, and we went to a show, and we saw the Blues Brothers. They were in a show, like, you know, not the real ones, but it was a good show. And we went on from there, and so 15 years ago. Right?
Oh, 15! You've been together for 15 years?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How come you haven't married her?
I did married her.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. We just never getting around to do it.
Oh, it's been 15 years. So she obviously never brings it up, because my poor boyfriend, we've been together for 2 years, and I'm like, clock's ticking there, my friend. Tick, 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 tick. And he's like,
well, you know, I don't know. Well, because I was married before, you know, I got 3 boys there, you know.
Yeah.
O'Neill was born in 71. So what does that make him then? 49. So he'd be 49, you know.
It's crazy how time goes by, isn't it?
It's 50 in June, actually. Yeah, June. Yeah.
Alex is the middle child?
He's the youngest.
The youngest. He's the baby.
Glenn's in the army. He's been about 25 years in the army. So.
How long were you married?
I forget now. About 35 years, something like that.
That's a long time.
Yeah, it might have been more. I got married 20. Yeah, I forget now. I forget. I forget now. 30, 40. Yeah, maybe about 43 years. I think maybe. I know. I said between 35 and 43. I think.
Did you like being married? Did you like being married?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
Is she still alive?
Yeah. Yeah.
She's still alive. Mm-hmm. Why did you get unmarried after all that time?
I think she just had enough of us, you know. We I I'd been in the army for 8 years, and then when I left the army, I was in Saudi Arabia for about 16 years, off and on. I would come back after contracts and what have you, and she spent a long time here by herself, between contracts, because I was unaccompanied. The last 8 years, we managed to get housing. She came across me, had 8 years in Saudi with me, but when I came back, I don't know. I never really. I couldn't settle myself, and it wasn't any, just too much,
Yeah, I do know. It's interesting how life goes.
Yeah, it's got nothing to do with Diana. It wasn't her fault. It was me. That was the thing. But the things happen,
Sometimes there's just a natural ending.
Is what, sorry?
A natural ending. Sometimes things just end.
Yeah. Is these things happen. But you just can't have any regrets, because if you did, you'd be looking for a gun and shoot yourself. Yeah.
There's a lot of people committing suicide. Just saying.
Yeah, I know that, but that's another thing that gets me. It's mental health. People saying, "Oh, mental health." It's getting bad. It's getting bad. We've had this pandemic, okay, and they said, "Oh, we can't go anywhere." You're in the house. You've got your family in the house and things like that. The government have been paying 80% of the wages, all the time they've been off. So if you think 80% of your wages, so you're paying less tax, what you would normally have. You've got no expenses for traveling backwards and forwards to work. You've got no expenses for eating and that while you're there. So you're probably better off that, with not working, and just let the government doing it. They did it for about a year and a half.
Have you ever been in a cage?
Me?
Yeah.
A long time ago, I was in a box.
Tell me about the box. How did you get in the box?
I was 16. I was 16. I was an apprentice electrician, and my friends thought it would be a good joke to put me into a box and nailed the lid down.
How did you feel inside the box?
It was claustrophobia. Claustrophobic it was. I didn't like it. But the thing is, I couldn't move. It was only what, a yard long kind of thing. I was all crunched up. I can understand to a point, but it's having said that, we've still been allowed to go out and walk around. You're still being allowed to go and shop. You've got all of these gadgets. You've got your phone, you've got your internet, you've got your computers, you've got everything that you would want. Me and you were talking there now, right? You can communicate, do anything you want. You've got all the TV programs and watch whatever film you want, any TV program in the world and that. And yet, I just can't understand it myself. I've gone through the same thing, but I don't feel that. Maybe
I think personally that there are some people that choose to be victims in life. They choose that. Like, for example, you just said, well, it seems like most of us really, truly, honestly have had it pretty good. We have our needs met. The government's making sure that we have some money to get us through this pandemic. I asked you about whether or not you've ever been in a box, and you said, yes, I was in the box and I felt claustrophobic, and, but I was in a box, a literal box, right?
Mm-hmm.
The thing, but you knew about when you were in that box, you knew that was temporary. You knew your friends were going to let you out of the box because they're good people, right?
Yeah.
Most of us know that what's happening is temporary. Where the panic sets in is the idea that it might not be temporary, you know, because for me, that's unnerving. I don't want to spend the rest of my life walking around with a face mask. I don't want to live like that.
No.
You know, I don't want to live a life where I'm afraid. I don't want to live a life where I'm judged if I choose to not put something in my body that other people are choosing to put in their body. You know, that it's my body. And if I want to roll the dice and maybe die, then that should be my right. That's the way it's always been.
It's your right, yeah, but it wouldn't do you any good dying, would it?
Maybe.
Why?
Because I'm God's favorite angel. He can't wait to see me again.
Well, say a good word when you go. I tell you. But I think what it is I know I'm coming across as judgmental, right?
I'm very judgmental.
I am. That's why. Because I was born in 1950, right? Now we could, I did. I would go out and play. I would come back from school, and I would be out until 9 o'clock at night, just running around, playing football, doing all kinds of stuff. I mean, mother and my dad, they would never have a worry because they knew I would be coming back, and they did every time, right? You couldn't do that here, there, now, you know. You'd be scared in case you came back with a knife sticking out of them or something, you know, or you got, you know, absconded or I don't know what, you know.
Do you think that the world is more dangerous than it used to be when you were a child?
Definitely.
Why?
Well, I think that when I was a child, everybody had, for instance, like a social conscience for one thing. A lot of people now don't have any social conscience. They just want to appease themselves, right? And because they do that, if they don't think that they're answerable to anyone. That's just one point. The second point, there wasn't as many people in the country in those times, right? There was, you know, I never when I grew up, I didn't. I never left my county, you know, my small area, till I was about 12, I think, you know. I went down to London on the train, which was with everybody else in the school, and that was a big thing. That was a big thing, you know. I didn't get onto a plane until I was 23, you know. We didn't have the means of communications like we've got there now, but we also didn't have all these electronic games, which distracts. You know, if I was wanting to be distracted, I would pick a book up. You know, I would do my homework. I would go and play football. You know, I would go and do all kinds of stuff because that was doing something. But now you see that people they're in the house so much, you know, playing these games and what have you, and then when it comes to making a decision, they've got no capability of doing it because they narrow their options down. That's my think anyway, you know.
Well, I'm a little bit younger than you, just a little bit. And when I was growing up, I was the same. It was the same. You know, my brother and I, we grew up out in the country, or if we came into town to visit our grandparents, we would be on our bicycles and we would be gone until the sun came down. Yeah. And the world was dangerous. The world was dangerous. Then I had bad things happen to me. I had somebody flashed me once when I was down at a park, and then proceeded to chase me, you know, like, you know, I had bad things happen to me, and but I didn't die, I guess was the thing. So with my daughter, I basically told her, hey, look, life is deadly. You know, the bottom line is if somebody gets a hold of you, I'm not going to, and I'm not there, I'm not going to be able to help you. So you have to make sure that you never get yourself into that sort of situation. Be aware of your surroundings, pay attention, that kind of thing. Do you feel like in our current culture that we coddle our youth too much?
Say that again, please.
Well, coddling, you know what I mean by coddle?
Yeah.
Do you feel like we coddle our youth and cater to
the
irrational fears?
They kind of like wish for something and they get it, you know?
It's too easy.
If I was wanting something when I was a kid, unless it was Christmas or my birthday, I would have to save up and buy it, you know? And that would mean like doing errands or you know, or like part-time, like a paper boy or something like that, just to get extra money to save up for things there. I couldn't say, well, I want a PlayStation. Oh, okay, here you are, you know. And then, well, I want this, I want that, you know, and anything there, you know. I remember when I was at school, I had this this jumper. You know what a jumper is? Cardigan.
Yes, I think.
Yeah. It goes over the top of your shirt, right? Woolly.
Yeah.
And when I had I had one of them. I saw it. I fell in love with it in the shop. And it had this. I think it was black up to here, and it had this kind of like neck and a collar that was stitched in, but it looked as though you had two shirts, you know, like a shirt underneath it, you know.
Yeah.
And strange enough, you know, I thought that was the most fantastic thing I'd ever saw, you know. And I was saving up to buy it. And every time I used to go past this shop, because when I was coming home, I used to go through the shop, and I just couldn't stop by looking in the window and watching it there, you know.
Do you remember how much it cost at the time?
Not very much. Maybe £3.
How old were you?
I'd have been about 12 or something, I would think, something like that, you know, 12, 13, you know. And I saved up. And then I just had nearly enough to get it. And I came past the shop one day, and it wasn't there. It wasn't in the window. It was always in the window, you know. I went in the shop and said, "Where's the jumper at?" She says, "Oh, we sold it." I said, "You won't get any more?" She says, "No." I said, "Can you get one?" She says, "No, I'm not going to get any more now."
Oh, no.
Yeah, I know. Now it might seem it seems stupid, you know, like to do something just for like a jumper. But what I'm trying to say is that I had an object to thought to get, like, and nobody was going to buy me it. I had to buy it myself, you know, and I would have done it in a week, maybe in a week later, you know. But there you go. But
do you remember what you spent the money on instead?
I got no idea. I've got no idea there now. You know.
Do you feel like you're good with money?
No, I'm terrible. I spent stacks of money through my life, you know. But that's it. I'm a bad budgeter, you know. I don't have it. I don't have any value of money until I don't have it. And
why do you think that is?
Well, I mean, say if I had £1,000 there now, what would I want to buy? You know, really, it's I can't go on holiday anywhere because there's no planes out, there's no countries open. You know,
yeah.
I've got a couple of bottles of Jack Daniels in the fridge. That's happy. That makes me happy, you know. And there's no shows or anything to go and see. The cinemas are just opening out there, but I've got my TV, you know. I really don't have anything to spend money on now, you know.
Are you retired?
Yes, I am. Yeah. I've been
so
retired 6 years now.
How did you save up your money for retirement if you were bad with money?
Well, I was in the Army 8 years. I've got a pension from there. I worked part of the time when I was in Saudi. I worked for 12 years for British Aerospace, so I've got a pension from them, and I've got a state pension that comes from the money that I paid in my taxes throughout my career. So I've got 3 pensions that I've got. Luann's got a small pension as well. She gets from the government as well, from what the tax that she's paid in there. So we all right. We've got a nice house, and I've got my dog, and it's all right. If I really want to save up something, I'm going to start saving up, because I'm going to, when they start opening up again, I want to go and see a couple of places.
Where do you want to go? Where? Tell
I
me.
want to go back to Cyprus. I would still like to live in Cyprus. I lived there for 2.5 years, and I've been back there a few times, but I'd like to go back permanently and live there. I've got a friend across there who moved there from Ireland. I used to work with him in Saudi, and he moved to Ireland. And in the meantime, he'd bought a house in Cyprus, but he hadn't lived there for 7 years because his wife wasn't there, had a bad back. But they made the push there. Now sold the house in Ireland, and they went to Cyprus, and they like it. I like the warmth. Have
you been to Ireland? Have you been to Ireland?
I have, yes. I have.
What did you think of Ireland?
Well, not much really. It's like Scotland, tell the truth, I thought. I tell you what I do like. I like Wales. I went down to Wales to visit our Glenn's wife's family. And I had a lovely time there. I was down there for a week. I'm going to go there again in August. And to go there and stay there. But I think really what it is, what is the main difference is because when I was in the Army and then I went across to Saudi, I was associating with people on like a similar mindset, right? So I had lots of friends, right? In Saudi, I would have my own bar. I would have people coming in every week to visit. They would reciprocate, and I would go and visit them. We'd have a good social life and things like that. Came back to England, got no friends. Because for 8 years plus another 16 years, all my friends are left in the past. I don't know anybody in England except for me. I've got me brother and me mother. That's it.
I'm missing the social aspect as well. I have friends, I just don't see them very often. I miss being active with other people because I'm self-employed. I work from home and I spend a lot of time alone, a lot. So I can relate to wanting to have more of that community and more of especially having conversations with like-minded people. Although if everybody agrees with you all the time, it can be boring sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I like a little controversy.
Yeah, I love arguing. I love arguing with people. I don't, not physical, but I like to discuss things, but most of my friends that I've got there now are people who I've known in the past. I have I've got like Tony. I used to work with him in Saudi Arabia, but that's 20 years ago now. But I still speak to him every kind of month now. I had a good friend I have for 40 years. He's visited here about 3 or 4 times, and he died last month in America. He died in Tennessee.
What happened?
he got killed in a car crash.
Oh no.
He turned onto a road and a truck ran into him and killed him outright.
I don't like that.
10 days older than me, you know, and that was only last month. But, you know, I'd known him for 40 years, you know, and we always kept in touch, and we'd, you know, and he always kept to come and visit him, you know. I've got a good friend in Lebanon. Every now and again we contact, you know. Not every month like Tony, but you know, every 2 or 3 months we'll get in contact. And I've got an old school friend, like I used to go to college with him. We until the pandemic came up last year, we used to go and play snooker every week. But now that it's changed, hopefully from next month we'll be able to start going and play snooker again.
Snooker is pool with a long stick, an extra long stick.
Yes.
I learned that from Alex.
Yeah, it's about 10 times as hard because the table is a lot bigger. Yeah, the rules are different. You know, you play on a pool table, and the pockets are really big pockets. So the ball goes, you hit it anywhere near, and it goes in. But the snooker pockets, they're only like half the size, you know, and so it's that much harder. Plus you're hitting it further. Great game.
Do you like playing snooker better, or do you like to play chess more?
No, I never play chess now. I used to, I've got nobody to play, but I used to like playing chess. I used to play all the time, but that was in my army days. But I like snooker. I've always played snooker. I've got a few trophies.
You do?
Yeah.
What is a snooker? What does a trophy look like? A snooker trophy. By the way, your son has been commenting. I'm gonna click on one of his comments. He said, "Big sticks and little balls."
Oh, we're not talking about him anymore.
Big sticks and little balls. That's so much fun to say.
I'll go and get you one of your trophies and show you.
Go get the trophy. Go get it.
All right. Here's a couple of them. There's one. Can you see that one?
That is that's fabulous. That's fancy.
I've got put this one down, and I've got my fingers caught. Okay. Yeah. Right. There's my other one.
Oh, that is wonderful. How did you win that?
How?
Yeah.
Wait. Can you say that? Wait a minute. Put it there.
Head NEJ Day Snooker Singles Champion 1983.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That was the singles, but I've got them for doubles. I've got a few more over there.
How old were you in 1983?
1983, I was 33.
33.
Yeah.
How did you like being 33?
Great. Best time of your life.
In your 30s?
Yeah.
What do you think of your 40s?
Sorry?
What do you think of your 40s?
40s?
Yeah.
They were good. They were good. I discovered my favorite game, my favorite all-time game in the 40s.
Which is?
Racquetball.
Racquetball.
I used to love racquetball. That's one thing I miss that I can't play here now.
Why not?
But no way to play. No way to play. You got squash courts galore, but I don't like squash. I like watching, but and you've got tennis. I used to love playing tennis. I used to teach tennis. But racquetball is my favorite. The thing is, it's racquetball is like a tennis racket with the shorter handle. Instead of being that big, it's that big. You know?
I think we have racquetball here.
Yeah, you do.
And you hit a ball and they do it. And yes, we have racquetball. It
was
seems
invented
very.
in Canada. It was invented
So
in Canada.
I have terrible hand-eye coordination. So when I play racquetball, I usually get hit a lot.
You probably will. You probably
Yeah.
will. Well, you've got to wear glasses. Because the thing is, the ball is like a tennis ball. It's not. It's bigger than a squash ball, and it's like a tennis ball, but it's got no hairs on it, right? No covering, and so when it hits the wall, it kind of like sucks onto the wall and expand and like throws itself back out again. The thing is, if it hit lots of people in the game, it's gone in. It hit them in the eye and sucked again and pulled out and plucked the eye out.
Ah,
yeah.
See, that's why I just avoid the sport entirely.
People wear glasses on. You wear protective glasses, you know. Well, if you get hit by it, you'll have a big mark on you. You know. I used to play with this.
Sound like fun.
One of the guys I used to play with, he only had one eye, and he couldn't, and he had bad coordination. And the times that I got hit by him, you know, not just by the ball, but by his racket and all kinds of things. That it was so funny.
Did you win more or did he win more?
No, I used to win. I used to win everything every time I played against anyone. No, I sound big-headed, but it was. I was fit. I was really fit in those days. I used to do a lot of running. You know, we used to go and I used to do 5 miles a night every night. It was me and Bob, and you know the guy who died, and Eamon. He was an Irishman. It's kind of like a joke, in it. The Englishman, the Mexican, and the Irishman, because Bob was of Mexican descent, you know, and we used to go out run 5 miles every single night. But we would never just go for the jog. We used to race each other every night. And
how tall are you?
5'8".
Okay.
5'8". And then after we used to come back, on the weekends we used to go into road races. There'd be perhaps maybe 80 or 100 people running, like, you know, maybe over 5-10 miles. You know, it was great. I did the marathon once at Saudi.
You did.
We started at 3 o'clock in the morning, pitch black, and we ran into the sunrise. The sun came up as we were going down, you know.
Did you enjoy the marathon?
Not really. I'd only been racing like 5 miles, and 5 miles. This is great. This is so easy, you know. I got 10 miles and I could feel a little bit pull on my leg and that. You know, so it's all right, you know. I got to 16 miles, and when my legs went, it's, you know, when you talk about hitting the wall, that's what I did. One of my legs just went, and so I ran the next 10 miles. Because 26 miles, I ran the last 10 miles in a limp, you know. But I was determined to finish, so I get my T-shirt, and so I finished it there, you know.
Oh, that's brutal. I absolutely do not want to run a marathon in my life. The longest that I think the most I've ever run was 9 miles.
I would encourage it.
Oh, no, that's too ambitious for me. I'll stick to the 5Ks.
I've done two marathons. Now I completed the Saudi one, but when I was in the army, I was coerced into doing a marathon in Cyprus. Now, we were talking on the Wednesday, and he said, "Oh, are you going to watch the marathon on Saturday?" You know, it's like, and he says, "No, I'm running in it." I said, "Oh, so why don't you run?" You know, I said, "Well, I haven't done any training." You know, he said, "Well, that's nothing. You can just, it's only 26 miles. You can just jog around, you know." So I said, "All right." So me and there was another lad there. I said, "Well, I tell you what, if you do it," I went to this other guy. I said, "I'll do it as well." He says, "All right." So we registered that day, and we lined up on then. But the night before, I used to play darts. I used to be in a darts league. And we were playing darts all night, and then I'm a really good drink. And I got in about, I think I forget, 2 or 3 in the morning, you know. Fell over the dog, had me contact lenses in, they went pinging off somewhere, you know. I got up in the morning, and because the race was off at 10, and I got up at 9. For my breakfast, I had a steak and a Mars bar. You know a Mars bar?
I do. It's chocolate.
Chocolate, yeah. I had
With nougat.
a steak and Mars bar, and a can of Lucozade.
I don't know what Lucozade is.
Like Gatorade.
Okay.
So I had that. That's what I had from breakfast, and then I went off and lined up. Anyway, we did 12 miles up, and this other lad, he couldn't do any more, and just dropped down. And for some reason, I got about the 16-mile point, and I was falling asleep. I was so tired, you know, because I was still half hungover from the night before as well, and lack of sleep. And there was this car would be following you around all the time, you know, picking people up who wanted to drop out and take them to the finish line. And she says, come on, you know, you're not going to win. He says, I'll take you home. And it's kind of like Satan in Jesus to say, yeah, whispering, you know, you can have this, you can have that, like, you know. And he got on anyway. And I felt as though I was going to fall asleep and crash into the tarmac. So I stopped and I got into the car and go, you know what, I've got 100 yards, and I regretted it straight away. I said, I shouldn't be doing this. But I started, and I couldn't stop there. I couldn't get my ticket back. And then when I was lined up there, and I felt disgraceful. And when I was watching everybody coming in, and one of my friends who was an Indian guy, from India, not there, I wasn't in, and he had these kind of like these shorts. They were, I don't know what you would call them, the material, kind of like plastic things, you know, nylon, you know, like I think nylon, and they'd been chaffing his legs all the way around, and the blood was just rushing down his legs where he'd been chaffed, you know, and cut into his legs, and he completed it. And I thought, oh, dear me, I felt awful. I felt really, really bad about that, you know. But what's done was done, like, you know. That's why when I came to do the Saudi one, I said, man, if both legs had fallen off, I would finish the race, like, and I did, you know.
It sounds like a terrible reason to run.
No, but I would
just so you know, I would have said that regardless. There's not any part of me that wants to run 26 miles.
And another thing as well, Amber, I was at the time, I'm 12 stone now, right?
You're 12 stone. What's that mean?
Well, that's 168 pounds.
Oh.
168 pounds.
12 stone.
12 stones is 168 pounds. There's 14 pounds in a stone. 12 14s, 168.
How do you know this?
Just like that. Like horse racing. And with horse racing, you do a lot of mental arithmetic.
Well, where the heck do you get these stones at? We don't have stones in America.
Well, what do you have?
Pounds.
Kilos. Pounds.
Yeah, we're pounds. Yeah, but we don't call them stones. So stones and pounds are the same things.
All right. Well, anyway, I was 100.
Sorry, I got you off track because I was like, "What is this fancy?" Okay, you were 168 pounds.
But because then, in Saudi, I was 9 stone 7, which is 35 pounds less. So I was 133 pounds then, not 168. I was 133 pounds, and so I had less to carry. See, that makes a big difference when you're running, because it's like having a haversack on your back. You know what I mean?
Oh yes, because right now I weigh more than 138 pounds, and I carry it all in my booty. And so I tried to run yesterday or the day before yesterday, and the impact was so severe on my glute that I injured myself and I've been sitting on ice packs for the last 24 hours.
Yeah. Oh.
Too much booty.
I would never do that. Get a hot bath. That's better.
I don't have time to take a bath. I try not to bathe. I didn't even take a shower before this interview.
I wouldn't like to sit on ice though. That would be cold.
Well, it really hurts.
Yeah.
I hurt myself. I should probably never run again. Why did you quit running?
Why? I don't know. I came away from Saudi. And when I came away from Saudi, my life just changed because I got out of a routine, you know, and I just got out of running because I would never run by myself. I would always go in rounds with somebody, you know.
Yeah.
And that would be it. Like tennis, I used to play tennis every night, you know. In Dhahran, it was because it's 100% humidity, and by the time we come off the court, I was absolutely drenched. You think I jumped in the swimming pool? I was so wet, and because of that, that's why you used to lose your weight, you know. And that's why I was so light in those days.
So Saudi Arabia is an oppressive place to live if you're a woman. Am I right about that or no?
Well, times are changing, and it depends what woman you are, you know. When I was there, right now, I've been back. It's becoming in October. It will be 21 years. I'll have been back from Saudi Arabia. But even in those days, the women, they couldn't drive. You know, they weren't allowed to drive, and that hasn't happened until quite recently, the last couple of years. You know.
Yeah.
But then you'd be at the traffic lights in your car, and you'd see these blacked out windows, beautiful car, Mercedes or something, and the window would wind down from them, and there's a woman behind the driving steering wheel, you know, and she would look, and then we'd go back up again, and the traffic lights would change, and she'd be away again. But there's at one time they had a strike, and it was Riyadh, which is the capital of Saudi, and hundreds of these of the Saudi women got the family car and drove into the middle of town, turned off the ignition, and there was just gridlock. Nobody could move anywhere. Police came, arrested everybody, took them to jail, and then the family had to come and take them out. And was reported later on that I heard from a couple of people that one of the older Saudis, he was so ashamed and disgusted by his daughter, who it was, he took her into the desert and killed her. And
oh no!
Yeah, you know. And the thing is, I don't know how it is now, but in those days as well, they had the power to do that. You know, they were allowed to do that. You know.
What do you think about that?
Well, it's terrible. It's terrible. You know, you shouldn't be able to do stuff like that.
Can you imagine? Because you're a dad. You have three sons. Can you imagine ever wanting to take your child out and shoot them in the head?
No.
It seems like an unnatural thing for anybody to do. I
could imagine going and killing the guy who did that, who perpetrated that. You know, because it's just brutal as Jack the Ripper. You know that it's worse because it's your own family. You know.
Yeah.
And just an innocent kid like that, you just wanted to be kind of like equal. You know, just wanted to be able to drive, not even equal. You know, it just doesn't bear thinking about. But I've had me mom and she's come to visit. So she loves Saudi. She loves Saudi Arabia, you know, and I loved Saudi. I loved it. You know, the only thing that would improve it is if they took the Saudis out of it and put them into another somewhere. Hopefully not England, but because it's filled with expatriates. You know, when I was across there, there was nationalities of the expatriates force from all over the world. There was a lot of Brits, a lot of Americans, a lot of Canadians. There was a lot of Filipinos from Pakistan, Ethiopia, Sudan, um, all the people you could mention. You know, we all gone in great because we all had a common goal. You know, and we all shared everything. You know, there's everybody was behind walls, high walls. You know, in the compound, used to live in a compound. Most people lived in compound. Some people lived in apartment blocks and that, but most or the big companies had their own compounds that they would hire out. And then once you're in there, they had armed guards on the gate, so nobody could enter. So everybody used to make their own booze. You know, they would make their own company, their own entertainment and everything. Guys were forming bands and everything. You know, I used to put a horse racing night on, used to have discos on, used to have tennis tournaments. We had 10-pin bowling, everything, you know, going on, and it was great, and everybody used to have a lovely time, as long as you didn't take the booze out and sell it to somebody outside or get caught being drunk outside. Because if you did that, if you got caught drunk, for instance, outside, or selling alcohol to somebody outside, and you would get arrested, you'll get taken to jail. They'll perhaps a month or so in jail. You would take you out of jail, and they would whip you in the street and take you out to a nice place where there's lots of population around and whip you. And the whip, not a big whip, but what they used to do is to put the Quran under their arm, right? And a little kind of like 18-inch stick and go like that, you know? So because it wasn't the pain that they were inflicting, it was the humiliation. Yeah.
Mm.
And then once you do that, you take you to the airport in shackles and you put you on the plane. If a woman got suspected of adultery, you know, she would have a passport, and they would have stamped whore on a passport. She would go out the same, you know, if she survived. There's one thing about Saudi is I used to go down every week and collect all the salaries from the bank, you know, and different denominations there. And I could I would take a plastic bag, and I would say like $100,000 worth of money in my bag, and it could be all filled up there. I never had one thought that I would get robbed or attacked or anything like that. None at all. But because for one thing, if a person in Saudi gets caught stealing, they have 3 chances. On the third, if they get caught stealing 3 times, they get the hand taken off. Right? What they used to do before in the olden days is to chop it off with an axe, you know, or a sword. But now they take them to hospital and they amputate it with some more methods and that, you know, great. Yeah.
Little Novocaine, make you a little more comfortable.
But like the weekend is a Thursday and a Friday over there, right, in Saudi. Not a Saturday and a Sunday, but Thursday, Friday. On the Thursday night, we'd have all these people who've been sentenced to death would come on Saudi TV and apologize for what they'd done. And they're all drugged up to the stage. You could see it in the eyes and everything, you know. And the next day they've taken and had the head chopped off in the town square.
Did you watch that happen?
No, I didn't want to. But there's what happened. You would get, you know, hundreds and hundreds of people just to come out, you know, a day out to do that. And if any of the Brits, I used to know some lads who did go, And if they would be standing about there, and if the crowd saw them, the Saudis saw them there, they would push them right away to the front. So you could say that, because you see, this what happens if you do anything wrong in our country, And the guy would he would come out, be on like a big platform, and he would be drugged. He'd go on there, and get the sword and chop his head off, like gruesome. I didn't want to say that.
Do you still have corporal punishment in England?
No, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
I used to, when I was a kid, if I got wrong, I would get the ruler, the ruler or the cane.
Oh yeah.
Cross my knuckles on my on my palm of my hand. I've still got a scar across here where I got it once.
You are naughty. You are a very naughty boy.
Yeah. But the thing is, they don't do that now. Okay? No corporal punishment allowed. And so, you get kids there now. In my other place, I've been in this house up in this area now for about 10 years. But before, I lived in another area, place I was brought up, where I was born, only about 30 yards from where my mother actually lived. I had this little house there, and the kids used to come. They'd be throwing eggs at the window, knocking on the door to disturb the dogs. If the one went down to the shop, they would call her American idiot. You get them in the street. They blow smoke in your face, knowing that if you hit them, you'll be taken to court, and that's why we moved. We didn't want to do anything like that. And now this area now, beautiful, nice out in the country. It's lovely, But I think corporal punishment up to a level, should be kept.
Do you think that when you were hit with those rulers, do you think that helped you developmentally?
Yeah, because I didn't want to get it done again, right?
So it changed your behavior?
It did. Mind you, I'll tell you an instance. I brought up a Catholic, right? And I used to go to a Catholic school. And this is what I didn't like about it. I would go in the morning, and we'd have class first thing in the morning, and the teacher or maybe the priest would come in and say, who went to church yesterday? Everybody put their hand up. Who didn't go to church yesterday? Whatever. And I put my hand up, right? And they would come out. She right, come out in the front, and they would get the ruler, and I would get the ruler or the cane across my hand for saying that because they didn't go to church, right? You should go to church because it's a Catholic school, right? The week after, who didn't go to church? Now, I didn't go to church again, but did I put my hand up? No.
No.
Why? Because I didn't want to get smacked, right?
So it taught you to lie.
So the thing is, what the moral of that is that you're teaching a young child at a formative age, right, that lying pays, right? Because if I told the truth, I would have pain inflicted on me. If I told a lie, I would get away with it, right? No matter that, I would have a bad conscience. I had to balance that with myself. But I used to go to school. I used to go to church most of the times, but just this couple of weeks there that I remember about that, and I didn't. That's what I didn't like. That's what I didn't like about the Catholic school.
Do you believe in God?
I'm indoctrinated in it with that. The older I get, you look at a situation and you wonder. I don't go to church now. Haven't been to church for many years, and that was that was because when I was just before I got married, and the priest put me off. I used to go to church. I was 21 when I got married, right? And we went across to the priest to church. Said we want to get married in church. Me and Diane. She says, okay. Diane's not a Catholic. She'll have to come and get instructions on how to be a Catholic. I says, no, I don't want that. I says, I don't want to enforce my religion on her simply because she's not a Catholic. I wouldn't like her religion inflicted onto me. I says, no. I said that can't be fair. I said, just let us. I says, look, we're trying to be honest. We could say, right, okay, we'll go for the instructions for 6 weeks while the bands are being read. And then after that 6 weeks, after taking instructions, just lapse and just forget about what we're being told, But we're trying to be honest about it. And I says, so will you marry us? She says, no. So I won't marry you then. And I never been to church since then. That stopped me from going to church. The only times I've been to church is sort of like the funerals and weddings, and a couple of times, 2 or 3 times over the years, we're talking about 50 years, you can count them on one hand, like on a midnight mass at Christmas or something, when I've been around, and I've had the urge on us, but it's still indoctrinated in my mind, different things, if I say Jesus, I've still got to bow my head, if I say a coffin, a hearse go by with a coffin in it, I've got to bow my head and
do the sign of the cross.
Really, it comes spiritum too, or things like that, things like I still remember all the Latin from the church and that, like, that's ingrained in my mind. I don't know why. I don't say it now, but and little things like that, and you just wonder, again, because it is a formative age when you go. I went from when I was 5 and I left school when I was 15, right? So in that 10 years, I had religious instructions every single day, tell me that I'm a Catholic, like,
Do you believe that God and religion are the same thing?
It'd be nice to think. It would be nice to think that that there, everybody's got different names, different religions and instructions and beliefs and things like that. But that there was only one God, They're just different names for God. Yeah. Say it's if I was speaking to a scientist, if there was a scientist there now listening to us like this, you probably just laugh at us, say that there's no conviction. There's nobody ever come back, and no matter how many people promised to, Houdini, he could escape from anything, right? He was a big, Houdini?
I do know who Houdini is, yes.
He escaped from everything. And he was a big thing about, like, the afterlife. He used to really believe in the afterlife. And he said, well, if there's a way to this, to come back, I'll definitely come back. I'll escape from there, But he hasn't come back there, But
do you believe in reincarnation?
Well, I don't know about that either, see, because if it was a reincarnation, you'd have the same number of people all the time, wouldn't you? Instead of how come that the population is so larger now than it was back in Henry VIII's day or something like that. If all the people who died came back, you'd have the same number of people all the time, and it wouldn't be increasing, would you?
Not necessarily. If life is energy and energy changes shape. You know what I mean? It just, I don't necessarily think that it has to be a number of beings. I think it's a collection of energy potentially.
Well, you'd have to come back as a human, wouldn't you? Or do you want to come back as a cockroach or something like that?
I don't know. I don't know how any of it's decided, but I think it's fascinating to think about.
Well, it is, yeah, it is. But there's no way of proving anything, say.
What's your birth date?
10th of February.
February 10th, what year?
I'm Aquarius.
Aquarius. And what year?
1950.
1950. So do you follow astrology?
No, not really.
You don't know anything about Aquariuses?
The water carriers.
Aquarius.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Do you know anything about your sign?
Water. Carry the water about.
You're a water sign?
Yeah. Yeah. And the opposite sign is Leo. Yeah, Leo the lion.
Leo the lion.
They're opposite. Strangely enough, Diane, who were married, right? She is a Leo. Luan, she is a Leo.
You have a type, Alf. You have a type.
And the difference is you're born 16 days between each other.
Interesting.
Not in years, but in days. Not that I was looking particularly for a Leo or on that particular thing.
Have you noticed any synchronicities in your life when you're quiet and reflective? Just some odd things that have lined up that you just that have made you wonder about things?
Yeah. Yeah. I used to do a lot of poetry, but I'm not a poet who uses prose, Prose is kind of like a lot of nice words put in, but you don't know what you're talking about, When I write a poem, it's got a rhyme, but I've done many poems, like metaphysical poems and that, about different things, in fact, one of the stories that I've got about half a dozen stories on the boil at the moment. I keep popping into them and doing that. It's about somebody who dies, and then when they die, what happens to them after that? So, but I don't know. I've got so far. I've got about 30 odd pages up to now, and I'm just wondering what I'm going to put after that. I don't want to just go over like stories that I've seen on like the TV, like Angel on My Shoulder and things like that. Have you seen that film?
I have not. No.
What's that? It's great. And other things about coming back, how like Highway to Heaven and things, and it's I don't know, maybe it might hit us if I sit in the chair long enough.
So you're just going to sit there until the stories come. How do you feel about dying?
I'm not frightened about dying. There's a couple of times that I thought I was going to die for sure, and I didn't find myself panicking. I was on a plane once, and it was coming in. It was coming in to land at Newcastle, my local airport. I was flying. It was really rushing towards the ground, to land. And I turned to Diane and said, "We're going to crash here," And just before the wheel touched the ground, the plane took back up again. He obviously knew he was coming in too fast, and he had to go back and circle back around again. But I'm sure if he'd attempted, we were gone flipped over. We were really good. And a few of the times, like coming on flights, once we got all of these airbags dropped down in front of us, when my friend, we were traveling back in to take a course in England, and that we were stationed in Cyprus, me and my friend. And he said, "I'm going to the toilet." And he went to the toilet, and he came back, and he says, "There's a funny smell in there, in the toilet." I said, "Well, no, because you've just been there." He says, "No, it's something else. It's something else." He says, "It's really strange." And so I says, so I called the stewardess. I said, "I'm sorry to bother you. It might be nothing." He says, "But your friend's been in the toilet, and he thinks there's something wrong. You know, there's a strange smell. Can you just investigate, just to put his mind at rest?" He says, "Okay." A couple of minutes later, all the whole cabin, all the
oxygen masks.
They all fell down, and it gave off there. It says, "Oh, we're going to have to." It was an air traffic controller strike over Europe, so we couldn't land anywhere there. So we said we're going to turn back and go back to Cyprus. Now we hadn't gone that far. We'd only gone out for half an hour, and so they had to jettison the fuel in the water so they could land instead of having otherwise it'd been too heavy to land. But the problem was, and the smell that my friend detected, was that the hydraulics had gone. It was the hydraulics that you could smell. It was failing, and so they had to land the plane with hardly any of the hydraulics working. And they landed, and when we landed, you could see all the fire brigade and the ambulances and everything all down by the tarmac, expecting us to crash or something. And we landed, and we had barely any airstrip left. There's a long airstrip in Cyprus, and we had barely any airstrip left, and finally just managed to pull up there, and we got out okay. We went into the after thing about it was that we went into the bar, and we were there for a couple of hours while they were detecting what was going to go on, and then I got pulled in. Somebody said, "Can you come with me?" And I went in, and he says, "We want to do a complete medical on you." I says, "Why?" He says, "Because one of the cabin crew saw that you were really red in the face, and we think that you might have had something go wrong with you, because you must have had like the air pressure with the fright and that." I says, "No, you're mistaken. It's my friend. We swapped seats because he was wanting to sit next to the window, right? And so we swapped seats, and because my name was with his seat and his name was mine, they thought he was me." And so they did a complete check on us, and I was fine. They wouldn't go back and check them, And the next day, we had to wait for another day till they sent another plane out from England to take us back, to go on the course, and he wouldn't go on the plane. So
he was afraid.
Yeah, he was so frightened, and so I went back myself and did the course myself there, But he wouldn't do it. He got so frightened of what happened there, But
do you feel like fear has held you back in life at all, or do you feel like you've kind of been able to navigate it without being afraid?
No, I've never been afraid. Like that's what I'm saying. When you're talking about mental health, and I can resonate with people who have that, even though I don't. I think that some people are played on it, like Meghan, and
Meghan Markle. Are you talking about Meghan Markle?
Yeah.
Are you a Meghan Markle fan? Do you like her?
No. I used to like her in Suits.
No.
I used to watch her in Suits, I watched the whole series, every single episode. I saw her married on Suits, But I think it's disgraceful the way that you've treated Harry's family. I really, really do. And him as well, He's been brought with privilege, and now they've left to make money, right? They say they want to go and have a quiet life. You don't want to have the paparazzi, bothering them, And what do they do? they sign multi-million pound contracts to make podcasts and films and things like that. They go on to Oprah Winfrey, and they state all kinds of lies, against what the royal family has supposedly done to them. Not a shred of proof. And then it came out. Harry, just last week, I saw one of these things there, the thing you can't see in between or something, or you can't see. You've got this about half a dozen episodes, and the first one, he mentions there that 4 years ago he underwent therapy, right? Because she told him there that I think you should go I think there's something wrong with you. You want to go and take therapy. So he went and took therapy, and he says, "Oh, it really helped," And the guy says, "Why? Oh, yeah." This came out later. Said, "Why, if you could get therapy, why couldn't Meghan not get therapy? Surely you're not going to deny her if you've had it, It
doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't, But of course, Oprah's going to, she's crying and things like that, But I just don't like the way it's going on, especially, the Duke of Edinburgh died, the Queen's husband, and sure, she's desolate, and she's be putting out all of this supposition, without any proof, and it's just not nice,
Yeah,
not nice at all. But anyway, that's the way I see it. Anyway, might be.
I actually, you know what? I've heard a lot of the same types of things. You already know I don't watch television anymore, so I haven't watched Oprah on television since she was actually on regular television. Now that she's got her own network, I don't watch, and I didn't watch the Meghan Markle interview. I didn't see any of that.
I saw that. But
it was, I think a lot of times things are for ratings,
And since then, of course, every newspaper under the sun wants to interview them,
Yeah.
So they're getting paid for it all. Of course, they don't want to speak to, supposedly, to journalists. They don't be pestered by journalists. It just doesn't add up, does it?
It's disingenuous.
Yes, it is. It is.
Yeah.
And she put not a little tear come down her eye when she's talking and that. But she's an actress, when people have got to remember that. She's been taught to do things like that.
Yeah.
And he's just controlled by her, just totally manipulated by her, But we'll see how that progresses in time. No doubt they'll have a big fight one day, and you'll fall out, you'll get divorced, and you'll never be there.
It's likely to happen statistically.
Yeah, I mean, his ancestor gave up the throne. Never mind him. Now what she's not wanting, because on all of her books and podcasts and things, and any advertising there now, she puts Duchess next to her name, right? Now, because she doesn't want to lose that, because she'll lose money in the PR ratings, So, they can't use their Royal Highness or Highness. Now that's been taken away from them. But the next thing they're talking about now is taking the Duke and the Duchess away from them as well, and she's scared stiff that's going to happen.
Royal drama.
Yeah, it is. It's just like a soap opera,
I do think that people secretly want there to be the drama so that we have a soap opera to watch.
Well, I'm sure they do. They watch the Kardashians and all these reality shows and things like that.
What do you think of the Kardashians?
Nothing. I haven't watched an episode of them.
Not one?
Not one. Not
Mm.
one. Plus, I don't. I just don't like look at them. Tell the truth. He looks.
Why not? They're very beautiful.
No, I don't. I don't think they are really. I think like I say, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? And part of the beauty is character, and I don't think you've got any character. You know, I'd much rather spend time with somebody who's got a great character, than walking about in a swimsuit or something, You know, no, that's not my type.
Do you have hope for the younger generations in regard to good character and ethics and proper upbringing? Especially since so many young people seem to be very privileged, regardless of race or ethnicity.
Yeah, I'd like to think so, because I've got grandchildren, and I would love them to have the perfect world, and I would love them to have everything that they want in their life, and achieve as much as they can, But something's got to be changed in the world soon, there.
But isn't that the problem, though? Is that we have so most of us that come from hardships, we have our children and we want them to have all of the things that we weren't able to have. We want their dreams to come true while they're alive.
Yeah.
But then we raise these children and they have it so easy, and they have all the things that they dreamed about, and it comes so easy, but then they take it for granted, and they're not able to be self-sufficient and make it.
Yeah.
So how do you find that balance?
Well, I don't know. It's hard. It's because if you've got if you've got countless money, right, countless amount of money, and you want to provide for your kids as best you can, and it's a parenting really. If they want to give them everything they want, or restrict and let them achieve something to earn that, Now, our Glenn's got 3 boys. My second lad, he's got 3 boys, and he's the great boys, 2 of them left school last week. One is going to study to be in the army, and the other one is going to be in the police force. And the other lad's got another year to do before he leaves, now Alex, he's got a young boy, and he's got to say this yet because he's just a young kid, he hasn't gone to school yet. But I think it's got to be from the parents, because you set an example, like my mom and dad, I couldn't have asked for better people, the best people I've ever known in my life, and I'm really proud of them. And my dad's not here, but my mom's still here. She's 94 now.
Ah, I love that.
Yeah. She'll be 95 in August.
How is she doing?
Well, she's frail now. She's frail, but she still wants to do the housework and things like that, get the Hoover out and and vacuum around the place and that,
My grandmother is 85 and she's still working.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the hard things that I found out. When I left work, I found it hard, really hard, because I've been working from when I was 15 until I was 65. Without a break, kind of 50 years is a long time, and so it's ingrained in that you want to go to work, and so I would stop for a few months, and then I'd have to go and apply for another job and get another job, Well, I finally accepted it there now, although I still get job offers and things but and it's like I got one the other day, just working from home, but I can't be bothered now, But yeah, it it's hard though, It's hard because you want to do something, you want to keep yourself active, That's why I enjoy my writing, I've only been writing the last 3 years, I've done 5 books now, so it's not too bad. And it's it's not as though I come on here every day and plow down, for 6 or 7 hours or something, and whatever. I just come on whenever I fancy it. I do a bit at a time, and
I think that sounds lovely. You've got a good thing going on.
yeah, but it's I don't know. The politicians, they're to blame as well, because they've got they set the rules, and I don't know. I don't really know what to do, because I'm expounding what I think again, and I've got a different mindset from the norm. Again, say
do you think that you have a different mindset than the norm?
I'm on a couple of military sites on the Facebook, and I am the norm on the Facebook on the military side. You see the objections that people put on the pages, about something that happens, and it's exactly what I'm thinking, It's exactly what I'm thinking. It's so I'm not just a singular entity. But the thing is, the sites that I'm on, we all retired. We've got no say in the matter there now, right? When the military there last year, when they were actually going down London to defend the statues, because they were going to be defaced, or in some cases pulled down, and yet you were getting chastised and getting into fights and victimized and being told by the police that you can't do that. This is a heritage that they're proud of, because they've served in the army, they've served in the navy, they've served in the air force, and it's their heritage. People have died in the past in world wars, and because the world war hasn't happened for a long time now, it's the youngsters of today, they just treat that as just old ancient history in a history book, and they've lost complete track of the heritage.
There's no respect or honor for the dead.
No.
And the sacrifices that have been made to get us to where we are today, which is very comfortable. Most of us that I know are pretty comfortable.
Yeah, definitely. This is the most affluent time in history.
Yes.
People have never been so more comfortable in history. They don't have. This is the most peaceful time in history. No wars or anything going on.
Except for Syria. Syria is being bombed to hell. Syria is not a peaceful place.
Why? Like Israel?
Yeah, Syria. Are you following what's happening in Syria?
Well, but the thing is, this will only be a short term. It's not involving the world. Before, when the World War was on, the whole world was drawn in. Even though America came a little bit late. But
do you think we're going to have another world war? Do you imagine that?
I hope not. If it was, we could all go on. Get one of these daft people in China, says, "Oh, I'm going to set some bombs up." What happens? America sends them up there, go flying past each other. Millions killed in one country, million killed in another. All the fallout. The world's gone to hell, and
The thing that makes me worry about war on a global scale is just how many people there are now. I mean, there's billions and billions of people, and renewable resources. I mean, resources in China, that the air is so bad that they can't even breathe. So,
Yeah.
if I lived in China and I couldn't breathe and it wasn't, everything was toxic because of pollution, etc., I would be wanting to move to a different place where the air was fresh, right? So what happens is there's a lot of Chinese investors that come to America and buy up properties. But we're not doing that in China from what I know, which is not very much. I'm just saying that at what point, when you're in a country with all these people and you need more space, do you start to make moves to expand? Do you think that that's going to happen?
Well, we're getting plenty of people from France at the moment, these immigrants. That's a start. But one thing that this COVID has done, it's kind of it has freshened the world, right? Because there's been no air pollution, for instance, all the toxic fumes going up in the air. You look, they can see now, like in Africa, they can see mountains that they never saw before because it was covered in pollution. China, it's nowhere near like what it used to be before. They used to go around in masks there before. Never mind COVID. They used to go around in masks there. That's all quietened down. It's because there's been it's kind of like just giving a refresh, and it's been good for the planet, that. But that might be the thing. You might not need a world war to end the earth, because nature could do it for you. You had that place there last week. You had that big volcano erupted. You got tsunamis. You got Australia. That's been going up in fire. And burning everything down. There's all kinds of things. You've got all the ice melting. In Antarctica and things like that. And
do you think that those are nature things, or do you think that human manipulation are part of the reason those changes and those things are happening? For example, the wildfires in Australia, are those wildfires naturally occurring events, or are those wildfires occurring because human choices and big industry have changed the infrastructure of, do you feel like the catastrophes that are keeping the checks and balances in line are truly natural and truly nature, or are they human fueled?
Well, global warming, that's some people believe it, some people don't, but to my mind, it's obvious that it's happening. That's why the ice is melting, and once it does, if all that melted, it's all the water. Where's that going to go? It's just going to flood all over the place. It's and because the climate is changing. Like when I was a kid, we had seasons, right? We had a spring, we had a summer, we had an autumn, like your fall, right, and a winter, right? And you would have, it would be great, nice hot summers, balmy falls, and winter with snow. I would go out with my wellies, and it would be coming over top of me boots, right? But nobody ever missed work, because they would just walk into work. They just take it, accept it that way, right? You've got a little bit on there now. Oh, the trains are off, buses are off, the cars are off. I can't go to work. No, sorry. I'll come in there next week. Because one day it was snow, right? But at least it was nice to have that. I went on. We had a delivery on Christmas Day once by the milkman, and of course, my grandma, I went to see my grandma, and she says, "Can you go and get the milk?" And I went to get the milk, and there was the 2 pints of milk, and it was frozen on the doorstep, and the milk had risen up, and it was about that high, about about an inch and a half above the top as it being forced up, and the little circle, little silver circle was on top of it. You know, you know bottles of milk. It's got like a little silver crown on the top.
I've never seen a bottle of milk. They come in plastic cartons here.
Oh.
I'm like, I'm trying to picture a bottle of milk.
Oh, well, that's what it was. Just a bottle of milk, were completely frozen, and it forced itself up so that it actually gone above. There was the lid, and it gone up like that, and on top was the seal, the seal. And that was on Christmas Day, and you're still delivering milk on there, you know. But it was nice. But now you don't know what weather you're going to get. You know, the last 3 days we've had nice hot weather. You know, 2 weeks ago we had snow. You know, snow in May. You know, rain. You go to Scotland, you get. I lived in Scotland for about 4 months. I went in for a job for 4 months in Scotland, and used to get rain every single day. We got rain all the time, every single day that we went there. But you could never tell. It might be sunny, you know, and then it'd be rainy again and sunny. You couldn't tell. Or the snow would come down, or the wind would be blowing. You could never tell. It's the most changeable country there. I once went to Scotland, and I drove into a cloud. It was going up this hill. And right on the top of the hill, the cloud had come so low that I actually was driving I couldn't see what was in front of us. I was driving through a cloud until I had to descend back down again and drive out the cloud and look back at what I'd been through. It was weird. I'd only done that once in my life, but it was the most bizarre thing I would think in my life. That one was.
I want to go to Scotland.
Well, I don't like the Scottish. The guy, there's a woman there called Sturgeon, right? I don't know why they're politicians. They're all named after fish, I think. She's called Sturgeon. The guy before was called Salmon. You know, I don't know what the one was we called him, like, you know. But it's Scottish, the different breed, you know.
I have one friend that I met on social media from Scotland. His name is Kev, and he loves to talk politics. So he was teaching me, that's how I know about Tories. And he's very opinionated, but I don't want to regurgitate his opinion because I plan on having a podcast where he comes on and I get to talk to him. So you're going to want to watch that one.
Yeah, but you couldn't make it through.
You know, we've been talking for 2 hours and 12 minutes.
Are we?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Can you even believe it?
No, it's gone by quick. Gone by quick.
It has gone by. So we should probably wrap this particular chat up, but I'm pretty sure we will talk again because I'm going to need to hear all about your next book. Okay. But before we're done chatting, Alex had a question. He wants to know, how good a writer is Alex?
He's great. He's better than me. He's getting better every day. You know, he's recently taken up poetry as well. You know, now he writes prose where I don't, so I can't handle prose. But he's got the control of words great. You know, he's really, really good. As are you, you know, your the way your inflections when you do it in your story, it's great. You know,
I love writing. I really, really love it.
Yeah,
I'm eager to write my next book, but I have been focusing on my photography business. For me, trying to find balance is tricky. I struggle with it.
Well, yeah. Yeah, this guy who you're going to get in Scotland, if you think I've got opinions, you went to speak to Scott. He's they're the most opinionated race in the world.
Scottish.
Scottish, yeah.
Oh, good. Yes, I'm excited to talk to. So Kev, his name is Kev. He is an author as well. He likes to write. Well, he likes to write about racing, automobile racing.
All right.
There's a particular Scottish race car driver that was killed probably 10 years ago. Famous gentleman. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I can't remember his name, but I know.
So he's written a book about him, and anyways. So Kev has a very thick Scottish accent. So I'm excited to try to have a conversation and be able to navigate it.
You have to practice your dialect, then, won't you?
I can't do Scottish. I can't.
Wait, watch Outlander. Have you seen Outlander?
No,
You haven't seen Outlander?
I don't think I have.
It's the best TV show there. And
Can I find it on the Netflix?
yeah, I'm sure. It's there's about 5 seasons, I think. And
Right, Outlander.
and the lead character, and it's all set in Scotland, in like ancient Scotland and America, modern like modern America, in the 60s, and that, like, you know. But it's great, and they speak the accents, you know, in there. It was the English guy, but his accent is brilliant, you know. But what's that, Outlander? Do you not watch
Outlander.
TV? Do you not watch many TV
So
shows?
I don't actually watch very much television. No, I listen to a lot of podcasts and I listen to a lot of audiobooks. I read a lot of self-help business type books, and one of the biggest advice that I read a lot is not to watch television. So I figure if I don't watch TV, then I will be successful.
I ran a TV network for 8 years when I was in Saudi.
You did?
Yeah, I produced it, I organized it, I put all the shows out. I made the program guides, everything, right from nothing.
You love television.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
My boyfriend loves television as well. He loves it.
Watch Outlander then, because that's
Outlander. Right now, I'm watching Pinky Blinders.
Oh, yeah, I've seen all them. Yeah.
Oh, I love Pinky Blinders.
There's a new show starting about a month's time, I think, a new series.
For the Pinky Blinders?
Yeah, but
do
you know the mother in that show?
She's beautiful, lovely lady.
She died last month.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, so
she was young.
She'd be about 50, I would think.
50's young. I'm 44.
Yeah, but she died.
Why?
I think she had cancer or something like that. And yeah, it was really a shame because she's a great actress. You know.
Who's the main character in that show? The gentleman with the blue eyes.
He's got a woman's name. I forget his name there now.
He's got a rather androgynous look. He's a very pretty man.
He's got his sideburns shaved off. And
I love that how angular his face is and his cheekbones and how it sinks in right here.
Somebody Murphy, isn't it? Somebody Murphy. Cillian Murphy. It'd be Alex.
Cillian. Yeah, we've got Alex helping. He's like Cillian, and then Alex is like, watch Billy Connolly. I do watch Billy Connolly. He's a great comedian. Kev sends me YouTube videos, and so does Alex.
The show you want to watch is Two Night Stand with Billy Connolly.
Two Night Stand with Billy Connolly.
There's 2 shows. The first show is in London, and he's got a beard like Moses down here. Big white beard right way down here. And then his next show, the night after, he's in Scotland and he shaved it all off. And he's had it. Yeah. Great. It's so funny. so funny.
Billy Connolly.
Yeah. And one of the one of the jokes part, you know, he's always talking, you know. He goes to the unemployment office, right? And he tries to register. And this guy says, well, what are you going to be? Well, what were you? He says, well, tobogganist. He said, tobogganist? He says, yeah. So he said, wait a minute. So he goes to his friend and he goes to his boss in the back. He says, the guy who down there, he's going to Rochester as a tobogganist. He said, oh, he must be drunk or something. Put him down as tobacconist.
Tobacconist.
Yeah, but he was a posh guy. Well, you'll see that in the joke. So he's so funny.
I need some funny in my life. Things are too serious here. And you need a rubber chicken. You need a rubber chicken.
I know. Yeah.
How are we going to get you one?
I don't know. I'll get one. Don't worry. I'll have one next time.
Well, I can ship you one. It's expensive.
One.
It's expensive to ship things to.
Yeah, I know. I'll find one. I'll go down the farm tomorrow and I'll look about
it. The next time we talk, Alf, I better see a rubber chicken.
Well,
or I'm gonna have to invest and send you one.
I'll give you a couple of films. Do you watch films?
I do like films. Yes.
Have you seen 29th Street?
No.
Watch 29th Street.
29th Street.
One of the best films ever made. It's really, really good.
Who stars in 29th Street?
I can't remember his name now. My mind is going now because I'm getting a bit too old then. I can't remember very well. But he's it's great. It's got like it's about a man who wins the first New York State lottery, right? And he's disappointed. He doesn't want to win.
29th Street.
29th Street, yeah.
All right, I'm going to watch that movie. Okay, well, so I'm going to officially end this video right now. You know how I'm going to do that? I'm going to go like this.